Hi everyone. So if you look at this graphic, it would indicate that in the last 3 years, I have been able to make a 21% XIRR on a fairly okay size portfolio. Now this is a conservative portfolio. I have a separate defensive portfolio. I have a separate aggressive portfolio. So usme returns alag hai. My aggressive portfolio generates much higher XIRR compared to this. But let's pick a moderate risk investor, and for that, this portfolio will be very relevant. Now इसमें एक दो चीजें हैं. Number one, I pay zero commissions on this portfolio. Why? Because I have created this portfolio myself and I manage it. This comprises a mix of direct stocks and mutual funds, and I pay close to 0% commissions on it. How exactly, I'll explain on this video. Number two, I'll help you understand how you can build your own mutual fund where you are paying very less commissions. And third and finally, I'll create like a sample portfolio for you, right? So these are three specific points that I will help you understand. This video is going to be super helpful for people who are getting started with their stock investing journey in 2025, or even if you are looking to rebalance your portfolio right now. You're thinking कि यार म्यूचुअल फंड वालों को इतना कमीशन देना चाहिए कि नहीं देना चाहिए? Should we continue to run our SIPs in mutual funds, or should we pick direct stocks? So I'll help you understand this categorization of investing in mutual funds versus picking direct stocks. What is the mathematics that you need to know? And I think this particular post captures the essence. So let's run a very basic number and then we will get into each of these 3 points. And the assumption here is that you're doing 25,000 SIP. You are generating 12% returns on your portfolio for a period of 40 years. Now, why 40 years? Because usually you might be like 25, you might invest in like 65, or even if you're 40, you might want to pass on that portfolio to your kids, grandkids. Okay, so 40 years मान के चलते हैं. So at 12%, you are able to generate roughly 29 point something CR of returns. Now, the only change I'm making in the second case is that we are reducing the returns from 12% to 11%. So 1% delta हमने मान लिया है. Why? Because 1% is the commission fee we are assuming. Now, if you are paying commission, then you might say कि यार 1% ही तो मैं दे रहा हूँ, क्या बिगड़ गया, right? So बिगड़ ये गया that if you run the numbers again, exactly same mathematics, the problem happens that you end up making only 21 point something CR, and there is a difference of 37%. Roughly 37% of your portfolio gets wiped out with 1% commission. So if you are looking to improve the XIRR, CAGR of your portfolio, golden rule is pay as less commission as possible. ये mathematics, it just looks weird कि just 1% difference है, इतना ज़्यादा difference आ गया हमारे portfolio पे. Well, yes, that's what the magic of compounding is, that if you compound this 1% average that you're paying every year, it creates like a bad situation for you from that perspective. Now, please note that I'm not trying to criticize mutual funds. I have no animosity against anyone. Okay, I'm just showing you facts with math backed by data. बहुत सारे लोग शुरू हो जाएंगे कि नहीं mutual fund वाले generate ज़्यादा returns, that stuff. See, studies have been done. Please go and read it. It categorically proves that 85% of actively managed mutual funds do not beat the benchmark. This is the fact, right? Even Mr. Warren Buffett had done a bet, right? And where he had challenged mutual fund managers or / fund managers to beat the benchmark, then majority of them were unable to do it. So this remains a fact. This is not something that I'm creating. This is a genuine case. Then comes a next natural question कि यार अच्छा ये तो फिर बहुत common सी चीज हो गई. Then why is it that people are unable to process this? See, the world of investing has been made deeply complicated. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me pick a real example. Okay, so for example, if you go and check this particular mutual fund, it is called as Quant Small Cap Fund. Okay, you check 1 year returns. It gives 36.49. Now, if I ask you to comment whether this is a good return or bad return, you will get excited कि 36% returns. This is crazy. I'm happy to pay like 1% commission. But see, ये किस पे हो रहा है, right? What is the benchmark or relevant benchmark here? This is small cap fund. Okay, it is generating 36% on a 1 year basis, and what you are paying an expense ratio of 0.64 on it. Okay, now what people end up doing is that they start comparing this 36% returns to the Nifty 50 returns. Now, Nifty 50 is large cap. This is not small cap. Nifty 50 is collection of top 50 companies. उसमें risk कम है, so return will be less. So now, what is the relevant benchmark for quant small cap fund? Well, it will be a small cap index. So for example, India में there is an index called as small cap 250 index. Now let me just open it up for you. So this is small cap 250 index. इसका आप same date से return देख लो. So from 11th December and करीब यहाँ तक आप देख लो return. So it comes out to be 36.74 या roughly उसी के आसपास आ गया return. So point being थी, ऐसा नहीं है कि quant mutual fund वालों ने आपको ज़्यादा return generate करके दे दिए. Okay, but on top of that they are charging like a expense ratio of 0.64%. Now this is called as TER. ना होता क्या है कि when you actually start investing money in a SIP mode in any mutual fund or whatever, what ends up happening is that this TER can be changed. For example, आप Google मार के देखना जिसमें भी आपका brokerage account है, on that email account just type TER. So you would be getting notifications from different fund houses and they will say that there has been a change in TER. What does that mean? कि वैसा उनका मन करा, अभी तो से 0.64 है, उन्होंने 0.8% कर दिया, कर क्या लोगे, right? I mean, then you will continue to pay that only, right? Why? Because people don't invest any time learning stock investing, okay? So the point is, or number one thing, if you want to build a good portfolio which generates fairly high return over a long term, is not the amount of return that you're generating, but the fact that you have to reduce your expense ratio. So which brings us to the next point कि अच्छा अपना mutual fund कैसे बनाएं and how did you build your own mutual fund? So can you share some fundas on it and some very simple strategies, because we are in a job, we don't have that amount of time. How do we go search stocks? What filters can we use? What are some like really simple things that we can do where we will be making decent amount of returns and at the same time we are not incurring like crazy amount of commissions? So basically, if you're looking to create your own mutual fund portfolio, it can be bifurcated into two broad buckets. One is that you can buy direct stocks, and second is that you can actually buy mutual funds. Okay, so for example, if you buy index funds, now what are indices? So for example, you have Nifty 50, right? Or you can buy an ETF. चाहे आप mutual fund में खरीदो या आप ETF format से खरीदो, it's one and the same thing, hardly any difference. So you can buy something called as Nifty Bs. Now that is an ETF, or you can buy a Nifty 50 mutual fund. Both are fine. Why? Because the commissions are very very low or lowest possible. So इसमें कोई खास commission नहीं लगता आपका, right? So this is a very very important point, that if you are investing in mutual funds, then invest in the benchmark itself. Most of my personal investments in the mutual fund space is in the benchmark. Why? Because the reason is again very simple, that hey, the commissions are the lowest. So ये तो आपको एक लो कमीशन प्रोडक्ट मिल गया, वेरी इजी, राइट, वेरी सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड. सेकेंड इज दैट यू कैन बाय सेगमेंटल और सेक्टोरल ETFs, right? So for example, जैसे अभी if you take a look at roughly like 1.5 years ago, then consumer Bs जो आपका ETF था, that was trading very low. There is IT index, right? So you have IT Bs, right? So that's an ETF. Yeah, that is another option. There is bank Bs, right? Bank Bs, right? So you have these type of options that you could pretty much pick up, and again the expense ratio on these is going to be low, right? I hope that this point is clear, that if you're looking to buy mutual funds, then ideally, right, in a normal circumstance, buying this universe of mutual fund actually lowers your commissions dramatically. This is a very important point, because if you're able to lower your commissions, then you are able to save a big chunk of your portfolio. On top of this, अब क्या आता है, अब इसमें थर्ड क्वेश्चन आता है, राइट? थर्ड क्वेश्चन मीन्स कि यार व्हाट इफ वी बाय लाइक एक्सिस, और इफ वी बाय लाइक समथिंग लाइक HDFC, स्मार्ट कैप और समथिंग म्यूचुअल फंड, और वी बाय लाइक क्वांट मोमेंटम ट्रेडिंग फंड, दिस दैट सब. भाई देखो ये सब हो गए एक्टिव फंड्स, ओके, एक्टिव फंड्स. Now, what is the definite issue here? Well, the issue is that the total expense ratio of these type of funds will be fairly high. Now, if the expense ratio is high, so now automatically your returns are going to come down. There are two more problems. The first key problem here is that number one, there is no way for you to figure out when to sell this. Okay, this is problem number one, right? Why? अभी मैं आपको example से बताता हूँ. Second key point is that you don't know when to bulk buy any of this, right? Now why? First again, let's go back to that small cap example or small cap fund example I was trying to tell you, right? So for example, let's go, right? So this is quant small cap, and इसमें मान के चलो कि यार अब आपको है ना कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि for example this is like we are here, right, 297. Now how do you know that this 297 is like correct NAV or not? Why? Because if you actually look at the constituents of this mutual fund, अब आप इसमें देखो यार दुनिया भर के stocks हैं, right? I mean, which stock should you sell, which stock should you not sell? There is no way for you to exit here, right? That's the biggest headache, okay? But on the flip side, if you want to exit small cap 250, it's fairly simple, right? Because technicals, even if you understand basic technicals, you will be able to manage your own fund or create your own mutual fund and exit it whenever the time comes, right? So for example, जैसे मैं आपको यहाँ से example बताता हूँ, तो this is a consolidation point, okay? Here small cap is consolidating. Okay, so this is an aggregation point. So ये कोई अभी bulk buy opportunity नहीं है यहाँ पे. If you are an SIP doer, you can potentially do it depending on how big your portfolio is. This was a consolidation period and this was a breakout. So अगर आपने breakout पे खरीदा होता, okay, and you would have waited for the technicals, then a lot of returns could have been made. So आप at least ये चीज पूरी की पूरी capture कर लेते. अब natural question आएगा, आपने किया था? बिल्कुल किया था, right? And I bought small cap 250, then I exited a few months back, right? And मेरा कुछ उसमें खास नुकसान नहीं हुआ. इनफैक्ट तब से जब से मैंने एग्जिट किया है, इट हैड गॉन डाउन देन गॉन बैक अप, सो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है अभी. इट्स जस्ट सिंपली कंसोलिडेटिंग इन दिस रेंज. सो बेसिक चीजें आपको टेक्निकल्स की पता होनी चाहिए, राइट? नाउ what are basic things that you must know about technicals? Number one, what is the meaning of breakout? Number two, how to draw support resistances. Number three, identifying major patterns like cup with handle, waterfall, all this stuff, right? For example, this is a cup with handle pattern. Okay, so इसमें बैठे बैठा आपका गेन यहाँ तक था, right? So यहाँ पे आप exit करते, right? So this was a technical target. अगर if someone would have bought it here, they would have definitely made money. So understanding these basic technicals, it's not as if that you need to spend like 10 hours a day learning about it and all that stuff. In case you guys are interested, I am running a course which starts start of January on around New Year. So it is a 2-weekend course. I will teach everything from scratch. So if you're a complete beginner also, this course is very friendly and over 2 weekends, right? So Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. So this is fairly intensive teaching. So you will learn a lot and you will understand a lot about stock market. So definitely go and check out the link. So this is a live program and it gets filled out very quickly. So we are anticipating that by next week, the batch will be full. So definitely go and check it out. But again, coming back to the topic, it's much better to buy something like small cap 250 because इसमें selling problem नहीं होती. You know when to sell. अगर if you have basic idea, if you have understanding of all these basic points कि breakout क्या होता है, what is support resistance, what are some basic patterns, then exiting these things is not going to be challenging for you. Okay, and of course it's like commission free. Then comes the second point that okay, what is the meaning of this bulk buy thing? Okay, so मैं एक छोटा सा example देता हूँ. For example, अभी इतनी बातें चल रही हैं कि HUL खरीद लें, Nestle खरीद लें. Now इतनी बातें क्यों चल रही हैं, right? So let me show it to you. So ये रहा हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर. So if you check the price, it had fallen from 3,000 something levels to 23. So there has been roughly a 20-21% drop in the stock price. Now, if you know the basics or basic technical, आप देखोगे ये जो black line होती है, this is called as 200-day moving average. And again, these are the points that I will teach you in the course as well. That ये 200-day moving average line हो गई. कभी भी खरीद लो हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर below the 200 moving average line, you are likely to do well on the stock. This is not a stock recommendation. I'm just simply showing you what the historic data is and how it has behaved in the past. ये सारे points आप देख लो. So comes the natural question कि अच्छा ऐसी चीजों में बल्क इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए. सी इफ यू आर अ न्यू इन्वेस्टर यू विल स्ट्रगल, राइट? आपको डर लगेगा कि अच्छा वो इफ आई बाय लाइक वन स्टॉक व्हाट इफ आई लूज माय मनी दिस दैट स्टफ. सो आप कर क्या सकते हो? यू जस्ट सिंपली गो. So you check out something called as FMCG index, right? So you just go, this is Nifty FMCG index, right? Now, again, if you knew any type of technicals, right? The technicals tell us what? The technicals tell us this, that this is the long-term channel and here is where Nifty FMCG is, right? It's at the bottom of this channel. Does it mean that it can't fall down? Well, it can fall down. No one is guaranteeing that. But the point is that see, the technicals at least tell us that this is a good spot from a valuation point of view. So this is not any kind of buying, selling recommendation. I'm simply telling you that by using little bit of knowledge, you're able to save a lot of commissions for yourself. So that's the basic bottom line that I will give. Now doing all this on actively managed mutual funds is impossible. Now going forward, what you need to remember is that see, every market has a nature. So right now what has happened is, and if we go and check Nifty 50, what we will observe is that this was the consolidation period for the market, right? 2022, 3 and then there was a breakout. So अभी हमारा breakout हो चुका है. Okay. Now there is a high chance कि there might be a market consolidation here also. Okay. Now if market consolidation happens here, then what type of market are we looking at? We are looking at a sideways market. Now if you don't know the head or leg how to invest in a sideways market, आप लगे पड़े हो कि मार्केट नीचे जाएगा ऊपर जाएगा साइडवेज जाएगा, मैं तो भाई अपनी SIP जारी रखूंगा, राइट? सो करो, लेकिन द पॉइंट इज दैट एवरीवन इज डूइंग SIP. इट्स नॉट एज इफ दैट यू विल मेक अबव मार्केट रिटर्न्स. There is no alpha. You get rich by generating an alpha. That's the entire goal of investing, to generate an alpha. Okay. So sideways market में if you don't know the basic, आपको कैसा बनेगा पैसा, right? It's very simple. Unless you bulk buy, okay, you are unlikely to make very good returns. Okay. And bulk buying, I'm not saying go and buy like random things bulk buy. It's commonsensical things that you need to bulk buy. And for that, you need knowledge alpha, you need confidence. Now, again, I will definitely say that invest some time learning about all these basic things. Do not give the argument that boss, you know what, I have a job, where will I, like, how will I track the market? कोई आपसे ये थोड़ी बोल रहा है आप पोजिशनल ट्रेडर बन जाओ कि all day sticking in front of the screen. No one is asking you to do that. All I'm simply saying is that, see, learn the basics. If you understand the basics, there is a very good probability that you will at least start with the process of managing your own portfolio. One, B, even if you are having a mutual fund advisor, manager, whatever, you can ask them better questions. If a advisor comes to you, suggests you something, you can ask more intelligent, pertinent questions. This is impossible if you take no interest in managing your wealth. आप खुद ही सोच के देखो कि, for example, you are spending maybe like 10 hours a day working, right? I mean, now the very decision of giving 1% commission changes 35-40% of your wealth. Now for that, don't you think that spending maybe like half an hour a day is useful? आप खुद ही mathematics run करके देखो, you guys are smart. So to cut the long story short, unless you know these type of tricks, it becomes problematic. कि यार, you know what, पता नहीं, we are not convinced that we should be managing our own portfolio, नहीं करना चाहिए, all that stuff. See, this is what I'll leave you with, and I'll tell you like a few things. See, if you are completely new, what you can do or possibly consider doing is that, number one, you can only start by picking blue chip stocks. अभी बहुत सारे stocks हैं market में. How do you search for blue chip stocks? All you have to do is that you go on screener. So you go here, you go on screens, right? You go on this option called as create screen, and then you write market cap, right? So you write market cap, and for a large cap company, your goal is to pick like what type of company, right? At least 50,000 crore की company होनी चाहिए, right? And ROC, return on capital employed, it should be more than, let's say, 12%, right? Because this is the basic cost of capital in India. And debt to equity, right? It should not be a very high debt company, right? So debt to equity आपका रेशियो हो गया, राइट? एंड आप इस पे जाओ. सो डेट टू इक्विटी मींस कि कितना लोन ले रखा है कंपनी ने इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ इट्स इक्विटी. सो दिस शुड नॉट बी मोर देन लाइक 0.15. सो यू विल गेट लाइक अ लिस्ट ऑफ कंपनीज, राइट? आई मीन इन दिस 129 रिजल्ट्स आपको मिल गए. सो दिस इज द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट फॉर योर एनालिसिस. सो दीज कुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज स्लाइटली सेफर स्टॉक्स. इसके बाद, आर यू यूजिंग द कंपनी प्रोडक्ट? डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट प्रोडक्ट और नॉट? डज इट हैव द ब्रांडिंग प्ले? ऑल दो स्टफ you need to check, but at least it gets you started, right, in terms of your direct stock picking journey. So this is the absolute basic that I will suggest, that if you're looking to build like even let's say 10% of your portfolio in direct stocks, this gives you a lot of power. So आप at least start तो करो यहाँ पे, right? Then mutual funds में आपने क्या करना है? So I've already explained you. So इन दोनों का आप combination बिठाओगे, combination of A plus B, then you will be able to create your own mutual fund, right? Where you are paying how much commission, right? As least as possible. You're not paying any additional layer of commissions. It's saving you a lot of money over a successive period of time, and it's actually helping you generate a lot of wealth, right? So that's the spirit with which I have taught. So I hope that this video was useful. At least it gave you a direction how you should start looking about it. What is the math behind zero commissions? How you can go about creating a basic portfolio around it and at least get started. If you guys have any questions, you can always drop it in the comments. I'll definitely give it a read and make a follow-up video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.